So we're doing shir hashirim, and we're in Perek Beis and Hashgacha Pratis. We always find Hashgacha Pratis of the pasuk to the time we're in. And this week is a double Hashgacha Pratis because the pasuk itself, the verse that we will be learning, talks about Hashgacha Pratis. And also it's a verse that I found in one of the old Sichat HaShavua, quoting this verse and connecting it to this week's Parsha. Unbelievable about Mashiach and the Geula, and connecting it to Parshas Tazria and Mitzorah. Okay, so we lost somebody who fell off. See who's on. Simcha, we lost Simcha. Okay, I hope she'll get back on in a few minutes. So we are doing, let me open the screen. How did I lose that? Second. I had it on the screen. Let me just 1 second. Find it again. I had it on. There it is. And I will put it now back on. There it is. So this is the verse we are learning today that we got to before Pesach. Verse 9, Tet. Okay, so we were talking that verse 8, we were saying, Kol dodi hine ze ba, medalek al harim, mekapetz al hagvaot. We are talking to Hashem, saying, look how Hashem is coming. And we said, medaleg is skipping over the mountains. It was so in context of Pesach, how Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, jumped over the houses. And we spoke about what's the difference between the mountains and hills, our parents, our fathers, and our mothers. We brought different psukim to compare it. What mountains and hills, and we spoke about how Hashem came, looked down in Mitzrayim and saw us, jumped over, brought the makot, and took us out of Mitzrayim. We are describing how Hashem did not forget us, and we know that even in the Galut, He is caring for us, and how we believe that He will come and take us out, and lovingly came jumping and skipping. These are words of affection, how He remembered us and came to take us out. And we are continuing here with the same theme and the same tone. We say, Domed dodi litzvi ole ofer ha'ayalim. My beloved resembles a gazelle and a fawn of the hinds. Ofer is like a Bambi. Behold, hine, hine is like behold. 1 second. They're cleaning the streets of Tel Aviv. Behold, hine ze omed achar kotleinu. He is standing behind our walls. Mashgiach min hachalanot. He's looking from the windows. Metzitz mehacharachim. He is peering from the lattice. We are saying here, He's so close. He's right behind the wall. He's behind the windows. He's peeking in. He is looking through the cracks. He is so close to us coming. This pasuk, the Rebbe mentioned so many times that we should, when the Rebbe started talking about Mashiach, that it's not something far beyond in the heavens, and we're down here, and it's like miles, millions of miles away. No, He's beyond the wall. He's right here. He's peeking through the windows. We just have to open the window. We have to open those cracks, open the doors. Mashiach is really here. And I think Mendy Jerulfi put it in one of the songs about Mashiach and the kids, and Isharibo has a song with these words, Hine omed achar kotleinu. He's right behind our walls. we have to bring down the walls, bring down the barriers, open up our eyes and to see it's not something that's not here. And this is such a beautiful, great pasuk. Let's see what Rashi says. My beloved, Domed Dodi Letzvi. I love the word Domed Dodi Letzvi, my father's name. My father, Oliver Shalom's name was Tzvi. I have grandchildren, daughters and granddaughters and grandsons. My Tzivyas and my Tzvis are named after my father, so it's very dear to me. In the swiftness of his running, a Tzvi, Hevei Ratz Katzvi, the Shulchan Aruch starts with Hevei Ratz Katzvi, Gibor Ka'alri, be as swift as a Tzvi, a gazelle that runs quickly, for he hastened to come like a gazelle and like the fawn of the hinds. Ofer is a young hind. Ofer is a young fawn, like it's like a Bambi, usually a Bambi. The picture of an Ofer is a Bambi. Oh, Bambi. Behold, hine ze omed achar kotlenu. I had expected to remain detained for many days, Rashi says. And behold, he informed me that he was standing and peering from the window of heaven at what was being done to me, as it is written in Shmos Exodus, I have indeed seen the affliction of my people. It's talking about Mitzrayim and the days that we are just finished going through. Hashem came suddenly. The Jews didn't expect them. They were so deep in their slavery, so deep in their pain, and all of a sudden, here, he's here. Behold, he is here. Hine is omed achar kotlenu. And first we'll do some more mefarshim, and then I'd like to read old Sichat HaShavua that I found and posted here. I'll open it up soon. But let's see what other mefarshim I wrote down. Okay, so see what I marked. I don't see what I marked. I did mark. Okay, it's talking about the hashgacha pratit, like we said. He is watching from the windows. So some say it's from the first one, omed achar kotlenu, behind our walls. Mashgiach me'chalanot is more on a general form. Chalanot hashamayim. Chalanot hashamayim, walls of heaven. That Hashem is looking down from heaven, more of a general. And then metzitz mecharakim, that he's looking through the cracks. Or here he says, lattices. Somebody has their mic open. Is more the singular hashgacha pratit on everything and every person, every detail. And this is really something the Baal Shem Tov introduced more, the idea of hashgacha pratit to the minutest details, to the minor details that we don't think. And it's really teaching us, Chassidus teaches us, and Moshe Rabbeinu expounded that Hashem is not just b'shamayim uva'aretz, ela even in the halal, ein od. Hashem is everywhere. Ein od. Moshe Rabbeinu added the words ein od. We have b'shamayim va'aretz. And Moshe Rabbeinu added in Parshas Ve'chanan the words ein od. There's nothing else. Meaning that Hashgacha Pratis is a constant and in every single detail. And we're saying here, we're saying it again and again, saying how we saw Hashem is so close to us. And we just have to open up our eyes and remove the wall and open the window and open the cracks. We see that, we feel a Hashgacha Pratis. So that feeling should be opened into a bigger feeling. It shouldn't be just a fleeting thought or a fleeting idea that I felt it in that minute, that Hashem is, we should feel it the whole time. You know, the picture, the words, looking from the windows, mashgiach me'achalonot, reminds me of a painting. I mentioned somebody has their mic open. If it doesn't bother anybody to close it, I would prefer it be closed, but if not, leave it on. I explained it to, this week I taught in Kfar Chabad, and the room that I teach in is the whole wall is windows, and the girls sit along the walls. So it's very tempting for them to look out of the window. There's no shades. And there were two girls that were like looking out of the window the whole time. And every once in a while they waved to somebody outside. And for me as a teacher, it was very distracting. And so I told them that my father, Al Vasham, was a collector of paintings, and our house we grew up was like a museum, is still a museum. My mother lives there, Baruch Hashem. So one of the paintings my father has, it's quite a famous painting, is of a picture, quite a big picture of you see the back of like a lord with a tuxedo, black tuxedo, bareheaded with his hands behind his back. I think he's holding a pair of white gloves, and he's peering through a window, and you could see beyond the window, you see a woman with a tichel benching Shabbos licht. I remember years ago, I don't remember what class I was in, what grade I was in. It was maybe 10th grade or 11th grade, or maybe 9th grade. We had to write some type of essay or composition for our literature class. And I used that painting as the topic of my essay, and based on Sikha of should we be on the outside looking inside or inside looking outside, the difference of perspectives. And do you want, and I was saying to the girls, are you on the inside wishing you were outside, or are you on the outside wishing you were inside? And, you know, we discussed it. I discussed it with the girls. The contrast of the two people in this painting is a lord, bareheaded, well-dressed, tuxedo and all, you know, black coat. I think he's holding something in his hand. I don't know if it was a top hat or white gloves, and he's peering in, and you see the inside of the house is simple, very, very simple. And this woman is wearing just this very low tichel and simple clothing, and like he's peering into her. The contrast is so, besides, you know, theological ideas of him being, you know, I don't know if he's Gentile or is it a Jewish child that went so far away and now he's on the outside peering into his mother's home, and she's lighting the Shabbos candles, and how she's concentrating, focusing on the candles. So she's concentrating what she's doing, and he's actually concentrating on something not within him, but out of him, from outside in, and she's totally in. So I always like this pasuk of metzitz min hachalonot, looking from the inside, outside in, more internalizing, looking inside from the outside in. And here we're saying that Hashem is doing the same thing. He's looking from the windows of heaven and looking down at earth, which is where he wants to be. Hashem created earth, world, because he wants to be here. He made a space to create the earth. So there was a tzimtzum. There was, you know, he had to make that space, like, because he was filled the whole world. But he wanted that feeling of being able to look from the outside within himself also. It's a deeper idea. Okay, I'd like to go share something else, new share. Let's see if I could, no, it's not there. So let me stop the share and see if I have another share. Second, no, it doesn't show up here. So 1 second, please. I will minimize you guys, maybe exit and find share. It's in Hebrew. Let me bring it up. See if I can translate it. It's a little deep of a sicha, but it's on this week's parsha. This is a sichat of Shavua of, is it from this week? I thought it was an old one. I don't know. Okay. It's Parshat Mitzorah. It's not this week's, but it's this week's Parsha. And the Rebbe here is using the Pasuk that we mentioned. When the Rebbe started talking about Mashiach more, he used this Pasuk a lot. Omed achar kotlenu was telling us, and is telling us, that Mashiach is right behind the wall. He's right here. Open it up. So I think the Rebbe here is discussing that in this week's Parsha Mitzorah, we're doing a double Parsha, Tazria Mitzorah, it says, it was, years ago, it wasn't called Mitzorah, the leopard. Not leopard. The leper. It was called Zot Tihiyeh, because those were the first words. Zot Tihiyeh, because it wasn't pleasant to hear the word Mitzorah. But Chassidus teaches us that from something that sounds negative, there's really the great light. That from the Mitzorah, you come to a great light. And that's what he says here. I will translate. Amitit ha'inyan. Do you see it here? The truth of the inyan, of the idea is that that the darkness will be transformed to such a great light that the darkness, the leprosy, will be transferred to such great light. It'll be when Mashiach will come. And that's why they never called it the leper. But now, it will be such a great light that it'll come from itself. And therefore, the Dorot HaRishonim, in previous generations, they were far from the revealed part of the future. And the light was not seen yet of the Vayetze HaKohen El Mechutz LeMachaneh, that the Kohen itself will go out to the outer parts of the Machaneh. The light and the greatness will go out also to the side parts of the encampment, because the Mitzorah was sent to the outskirts of the encampment of the Jewish people. That the purity of the leper will come from himself, from within himself. At that time, the leper himself did not purify himself. He had to come to the Kohen. So that was years ago. They didn't call the Parsha Mitzorah. שטהרת המצורע בא מצד גילוי אור מלמעלה ולא מצד עניינו עצמו, because the purity of the Mitzorah came from above and did not come from within himself. הרי מצורע זה מצד עניינו הוא לא נהפך לתורה אור. So the Mitzorah himself did not turn yet into light. אלא היות וידוע, but we know that in לעתיד לבוא, כך יהיה, in the future, which we are now, this is the way it'll be, that that the darkness itself will turn into light. So they call the Parsha, this will be, like in future sense, it'll be the Torah of the Mitzorah, so that the Mitzorah that the Mitzorah itself will turn into Torah. But the Rebbe goes on to say, in the later generations, שנקראים עקבתא דמשיחא, that are called the footsteps and the ends of Mashiach, at the times of Mashiach. Morgash etzel Yehudim, it's felt by Jews, ha'inyan shel Mashiach. We feel the inyan of Mashiach, the idea of Mashiach. Yehudim shomim u'margishim shemashiach. Jews feel and hear. Feel and hear. It's two different levels. Shemashiach hine ze omed achar kotleinu. And here the Rebbe quotes our pasuk. The Mashiach is standing behind our walls. V'yoter mikach, and even more so. Lakotel yesh kvar chalonot v'charakim. And here the Rebbe adds something that's, again, in our pasuk that we're learning today, that the wall has windows and cracks. See, the pasuk makes it 3 levels. There's the wall, there's the window, and there's the cracks. And the Rebbe says it's one thing. The wall has windows and cracks. Od yoter, even more so, who? Mashiach. Mashiach, mashgiach min hachalonot metzitz min hacharakim. Mashiach is looking through the walls and through the holes and through the cracks and through the windows. Hu mistakel umashgiach aleinu. He is looking and is watching over us. It's just that we don't see him. Because we have walls. It says kotleinu, kotel shelanu. We made those walls. Mastir, we are putting up walls. ולכן עושים יהודים גם מצורע. פשע בתורה, כי כבר מאיר בתורה הגילוי דלעתיד של וללילה כיום יאיר. And that's why we could call the Parsha Metzora, because we realize the Metzora is like night. It really, like it says that when Mashiach comes, the night will shine like darkness. Okay, and the Rebbe here continues. I will not continue. I just want to show you here the pasuk, and I'll go down again. That years ago they didn't call the parsha Mitzora, darkness, leprosy, leper, because that was dark. But the Rebbe says we in our generation see that the darkness brings out a greater light. So we don't see the darkness. We see the great light that comes out from darkness, from negative things. So we could call it Mitzora because we are in the future already. They were saying in the future it'll be, but we are already in that future. I just want to skip. It's a beautiful sikha. The Rebbe says we are not limited anymore. We could hear, we could see, we could feel. We just have to take down that wall. And here he ends. And especially in our generation. Kasher Yehudim shomim, he repeats those words again. Shomim v'margishim, hear and feel. Shemashiach hine ze omed achar kotlenu. Mashiach is standing behind our walls. Ve'od yoter, even more so, like kotel kvar yesh chalonot v'charakim. The walls have already windows and cracks. Means we ourselves are cracking the wall down and we're making openings, windows, and we do see Mashiach. We are the ones now looking through the window to look into Mashiach. It goes both ways. When you have a window, Mashiach is looking out at us and we are looking into Mashiach. Ve'od yoter, mashgiach min hachalonot metzitz me'harakim. Mashiach is looking from the windows into us. He is waiting and watching and waiting. When we will finish the little vessels, the little odds and ends, nitty gritties that we have to finish, shining our buttons, when will we finish all the little details at the end of our garments. Okay, this is a sicha that the Rebbe said, Chelik Chaf Beis, on Parshas Mitzorah. Okay, let me get you back on. I hope you enjoyed that little addition to this week's, and the beautiful Hashgacha Pratis of this week's Parsha with the Pasuk that we randomly finished before Pesach. Okay, let's continue to the next. Let me see if I can get that back on now. Yeah, no, sorry, I have to do this again. Lower you again, and to find again the Pasuk. Okay, sorry about that. Let me now share screen again. Okay, here we are. Okay, so now we could go to the next Pasuk, Pasuk Yud. Ana Dodi. Okay, till now, we were saying, we were talking about Hashem. He's coming, he's jumping, he's waiting, he's behind the walls, he's behind the windows, he's looking at us. We feel that Hashgacha Pratis. And then we say, Ana Dodi. Our Ana, some say, is he answered. And some say it means he called out a lot. It's like a cry. Ana Dodi va'amarli, and he answered to me, Kumi lach, get up, arise. Rayati, my wife, my fair one. Yafati, my beautiful one. Rayati is like my beloved, sorry, my beloved. Yafati is from the word yafa, my beautiful one. V'lechi lach, and go, come. Hashem was telling us, come out of Mitzrayim, come out of Galus. We're talking about the past, but it's also the future. Hashem is urging us to go out. Don't stay behind the walls. Don't look through the windows. I am looking through the windows with Hashgacha Pratit. I'm looking through the cracks, through the windows of heaven and taking care of you. You feel me, you see me, you hear me. Hashem is encouraging us to go out. Rashi says, Ana, Lashon Aniya, Velashon Tzakat Kol Olam. It's a loud cry. Okay, it's used also by the Levi'im when they all sing together, they cry out. Va'amarli al yedei Moshe Rabbeinu, through Moshe, Kumi aletchem me'oni Mitzrayim. I will bring you out from the affliction of Mitzrayim. Moshe promised them and told them. So it's going back to the past, but it's also talking about our future. Hashem is urging us. I remember once the Rebbe said, could be there's some people that are not dying to go out of Mitzrayim, of the Galus. There's some people that they say, what do I need it for? I just moved into my house. I'm doing well. What is Hashem pushing us so much? We're okay. We're doing well. Okay, now we could really see we're not doing so well. But there were times we're doing well. You didn't feel anti-Semitism. Everybody's settled. Eretz Yisrael is in our hands. And the Jews in America are doing well, and Jews in Europe are doing well. The walls of Russia fell, and the Great Wall of Germany also fell. When the Rebbe started talking about Mashiach, the Jews were complacent. They were doing okay. So the Rebbe says, Hashem is asking us, he's urging us because he wants to go out of Galus. He's looking at us from cracks and windows. He wants us to be together completely, not like this Lord looking through the window, wishing he was inside. He wants to be part of us. Do it for Hashem. Do it for Hashem. And he's urging us. And it's interesting, the Pasuk says, close it, let me see it again. Sorry, keep opening and closing. The Pasuk says, Kumi lach rayati. Arise lach, it's like for yourself. Velechi lach, we don't see that it's for our benefit. We think we're doing okay. I'm doing fine. I have my house. I have my whatever I need. I'm doing okay. And he's saying, no, it's for your benefit. Go for yourself. It's like saying to Abraham, lech lecha. It's the same language. You see, lechi lach. It's in the Hebrew. It's in the nekeva. It's in the feminine version of lech lecha. It's using the same words Hashem used for Abraham, for your benefit. It's Rashi in someplace else compares it to lech lecha, and other mefarshim also that it compares it to Hashem was saying to Abraham, I'm sending you forth. And to you might look like I'm troubling you to start traveling, to look for yourself, to lech lecha me'atzecha me'moladcha me'bet avicha, leave your father's home, your birthright, your things that you're used to, place that you know. It's for your own benefit that you should go out. Okay, the two different expressions of lech lecha, of rayati, yafati. Some say it's talking in a general form, and rayati is like Am Yisrael, yafati is talking to the righteousness. Just reminded myself, I felt like I forgot something here. Achar kotlenu, many of the mefarshim and the Medrash says it's talking about the Kotel Hamaravi. Hineze omed achar kotlenu, behind the Kotel. The Medrash says that Hashem is behind the Kotel Hamaravi. He's waiting, and that's why the Kotel was left, and it didn't. It was never, the Medrash says, it's the Kotel Hamaravi that it was never destroyed. The Torah T'mima also says that, because the Shechina never departed from the Kotel. And that's why other Mefarshim say, Achar Kotlenu is talking about all our shuls, looking through the windows and the shuls of our shuls, that Hashem is always in our shuls, in the Batei Midrash. Chalonotenu is our Rabbanim, our Kohanim, our Leviim, Metzitz ben Acharakim, peering through the cracks. It's through the fingers of the Kohanim by Birkat Kohanim. I realized I skipped over something that I prepared, which we learned last week with Aaron HaKohen in the Parsha, blessing the Jews with Yevarechecha Hashem. That Hashem is like peering through the fingers, ready to come out to bless us when the Kohanim are blessing us by Birkat Kohanim. Okay, so here we have again 3 levels of our shuls, our rabbanim, and the fingers of our Kohanim when they bless us. And Kotlenu, meaning the Kotel HaMaravi, Hashem is waiting, standing behind there, ready to never left Am Yisrael, never left the Kohen, the Bet HaMikdash area. The Shekhinah never left it, and is waiting for us to come back to build the Bet HaMikdash Ashlishi. Okay, let's go to the next pasuk. I'm just pausing for a minute. I'm thinking today's to mention today's a very, very special day. It's Chavchet Nisan. It's the day that the Rebbe said we should do everything we can. We should do everything we can to bring. Mashiach. Today is the day Chavchet Nisan. Asu kechol asher b'yicholtechem. Do everything that you can, everything in your power. And really, we should all take upon ourselves to do something today, tomorrow, Shabbos, all these days, while we're still in the Chodesh Nisan. B'Nisan nigalu, b'Nisan atidim ligael. In Nisan we were redeemed. In Nisan we are, the Nevuah says that we will be redeemed, and we have a few days left to Nisan. And the Rebbe on Chav Ches said, do. The Rebbe also said, I did everything I can. Now it's up to you, which was, I remember hearing it through the phone. I was connected to the what was it called? Shidur, the connection that we listened to on our phones live, the hookup. It was called the hookup, the live hookup. And I couldn't believe what the Rebbe was like saying. I did everything you can. Now it's all up to you. And I said, who are we? We can't bring Mashiach. And the Rebbe saying, yes, you can. Every person could bring Mashiach. And we always have to remember what the Rambam says, that in every deed that a person does, he should think that with this deed, he tipped the scale to bring Mashiach. With this little thing that I just did, I just tipped the scale to bring Mashiach. So I wanted to mention that today we should use, and we are learning, maybe our class together, to bring Mashiach. Women learning Torah, b'schus nashim sitzkanias yatzu avosenu mitzrayim. The merit of the righteous women, we went out of Mitzrayim. So in the merit of us learning and really wanting and asking for Mashiach should come right now. This very minute, we are ready. We should check our houses. Is there everything here is 100% that Mashiach could come? We should do our little piece, our little act of cleaning up our homes, that Mashiach should come, and techef umiyad mamash. Okay, maybe instead of going to the next pasuk, which I think maybe, let me see you all. Would anybody like to share something that has to do with this special day of today? An idea, a thought. Let's make it a little bit 10-minute farbrengen, instead of just me speaking. Anybody?
You know, I don't know if this is relevant, Rebbitzin, but yesterday I came up from Jerusalem to Tzfat by train, and just people all along the way were so helpful and trying catch this, get off at this station, do this, do that. You know, a lot of love along the way. And I had really wanted to learn. I try to learn with someone when I'm on the train. And the people I was sitting with were just, I don't know if I did the wrong thing, but they weren't in the mood to learn anything, I could tell. So I just spoke to them, you know, as best as I could to be friendly, basically. And I think, I don't know if that is in any way bringing Mashiach, but I think being kind to one another is important.
Number one, two things that I learned from you. Number one is seeing the good. You saw the good, and it's always good to talk about the good in Am Yisrael. You saw a lot of good, and your flexibility that you wanted to learn, and you saw that they were not kelim to receive that, so you adjusted yourself just to speak to them. That's so beautiful that you were able to do that on the spot instead of just closing up. And being that you mentioned Tzfat, Dorothy, I'll read it in a second, if you don't mind. Yesterday, 2 days ago on Sunday, I took a woman in my car for, she needed a ride also to the train. So I took her for a ride, and she said to me that she asked me for my brother's number. My brother lives in Tzfas, my brother's Rabbi Chitrik. She said she'd like to give him regards from one of his students that she was on the bus from Tzfat going somewhere, and next to her sat a woman who was a principal in one of the, I think in Chatzar. And the young girl said to the woman, I guess she learned from you or that's something from Tzfat, she says, let's learn something together. You say a Dvar Torah and I'll say a Dvar Torah. So the principal started telling her something in Torah, Parsha, and the girl, the student of Tzfat, was able to tell her a Hasidic story on every Dvar Torah that she said. She said a Dvar Torah, and she said a story. Torah, story. Torah, Hasidic story. And that teacher said, I knew Chabad women knew a lot, but the depth and the story and the practicality and of the girls was unbelievable. So it's so nice to hear that women use their way on their way. Okay, now let's open up what Dorothy wrote. Dorothy, would you like to speak?
No, I just sent you what my brother sent me. My brother has wraps tefillin every day now, and he's not yet observant. He's on the road. He doesn't do business on Shabbos, but not keeping kosher, still not doing things. And very connected to Avi Rabin in West Hills, California. Very, very connected to his Chabad, goes there. But you're not fully observant. The rest of the family is a little on board. But anyway, he sent me what I sent you in the chat. And I wish I had that level of excitement and sincerity that he does. He sent me the message, and I'll read it. You can all read it. But he said, I sometimes feel like a child, giddy with excitement for the coming of the Mashiach. To be blessed to live in this messianic era, and the presence of the Mashiach is also beyond belief. And I thought, wow, he feels it.
Wow. That's what the pasuk says. Behold, hine, like it's with a cry. It's not, oh, Mashiach's coming. Oh, by the way, I'm having guests tonight. It's with the cry. And the Mefarshim speak about the word ana, which we had before. He cried, he answered, and we cried, and the excitement of saying, hine zima omed nachar. It's right here. In an hour, she's coming. In 2 minutes, she's arriving. And, it's the excitement of somebody's not coming in 3 weeks from now. I'll take care of it then. But really feeling it now. I think that's so special. And it's good to surround ourselves around people like your brother who feels that excitement and to get these messages. And thanks for sharing, because it's catchy. Excitement is catchy. Excitement is, yes, it causes us to want to be like them. Like you said, I wish I felt it like he does. And it's catchy, like really believing that here, it could be any minute. It could really, Mashiach could really just walk in. And, it's like the people, by Sudas Mashiach, I spoke to the women who came to my house, we made a Sudas Mashiach women here in the house. I said to them, I spoke about Miriam Hanaviah and how the women had their tambourines with them. And I said, they really had it in their hands, not in one of the mules, one of the 60 mules, they had it in their hands. And Bashgacha Pratis, I met a few weeks ago, a woman who heard me say this like 30 years ago. She said, because of you, I have a tambourine hanging on my pocketbook so many years, because you made me feel, she said. And I said, thank you for reminding me my own excitement of really believing it. How do you know you really believe it? Is when you have that tambourine ready. So I said in Sudat Mashiach. So one of the women says, so where's your tambourine? I said, it's hanging right in my kitchen. And 2 women got up to see if it really was there. And there are 2 of them in my kitchen hanging. I said, if Mashiach comes and I'm in my kitchen, there's 2 of them there that we could just schlep it off the wall and I really should make new ones. They're really old. But it's that feeling of being ready and to grab, to know what we'll wear, to know what we're going to do, and just run. Hine zeba is right here and ready. Anybody else want to share?
I'll say something.
Yes,
I'm going to
Simcha.
be brave. I'm not usually a speaker, but you say you have to think about, first of all, I have my tambourine next to my front door.
Right.
It's all painted and beautiful waiting. And remember Esther Piekarski? She was a Kazan. She lived in Brazil.
Oh, Esther Piekarski, of course. Yes.
So I once heard her speak, and she said that hanging in her, or maybe it was her daughter who said it after she passed away. I heard it in New York, that she had a shaitel, a dress, and shoes hanging in her closet, all ready for when Mashiach comes.
Well, yes.
You say you have to think about what to wear. Hers was ready.
Hers was ready.
I think like we should have ours ready too.
Right, right. Or we should always be dressed
Yeah.
nice enough to be able to run out and say, no.
And,
Wait a second.
And then when I was in Minnesota many times, many years ago, and Manis Friedman used to say that the Algemeiner Journal used to arrive there 1 week late.
Oh, wow.
So he would get, this week would get last week's, right? So he said what's going to happen one day is the journal is going to arrive and it's going to say Mashiach is here, but he's not going to know for a whole nother week.
Oh, because the Rebbe was saying then to all the journalists that came to speak to him, to interview, he says, you'll be the first ones to.
Right. This was 45 years ago, before all the technology we have today. So
right.
it's greatly improved. So he'll know a lot faster now, but he was saying it to all these women that we used to go there to learn.
I remember the Yud Shvat that the Rebbe wrote, finished the Mashiach Sefer Torah, Tavshin Lamed.
That was before I went to New York.
Yeah, that was Tavshin Lamed. That's probably 1970.
Right.
It was 20 years Yud Shvat to the Frierdiker Rebbe. And it was Friday. And there was Farbrengen, because the Rebbe then, we finished the Sefer Torah, they finished the Sefer Torah, and that picture of the Rebbe putting the crown on the Sefer Torah. So I went early in the morning to save a place for my mother and my grandmother to be able to stand there. And I remember in the morning thinking, it's Mashiach Sefer Torah. So maybe when the Rebbe is going to put the crown on Mashiach, Sefer Torah, Mashiach is going to come. I better get dressed, not like a Friday.
Yeah.
With kitchen clothes. We went dressed like Mashiach's coming.
Wow.
And then later, when the women made, when was it that the women made something, a welcome Mashiach type of something? We listened then to a hookup to something the Sheikh Abad did in America with also Hachnas Sefer Torah of Mashiach that the women wrote, also something from the women. And usually I used to listen to the hookup. I sat here in this room or upstairs listening to the telephone, which was hooked up to somebody in Yerushalayim who hooked it up to New York, and spread it out all over Eretz Yisrael. We used to hear the Farbrengens, the Rebbe speaking on the phone. And I'm thinking, if this is something that has to do with Mashiach's coming, I can't sit in pajamas or in a robe. I because Mashiach might walk in the middle of this whole Farbrengen that the women made. I think, what was it? The women finished writing Sefer Torah for the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin, I think it was. So I got dressed. I made my kids get dressed for Shabbos. We had the tambourines on the table, and we were waiting for Mashiach to come.
Wow.
Yeah, so sometimes we make the time for it, special occasions, but it's something that we really have to be aware of constantly. Mashiach comes. I remember walking into, when I ran the seminary, and I walked into the dormitory, I saw so many things that the girls promised they don't have, and was not allowed and everything. I mentioned to the girls, I said, how will you feel if Mashiach walks into this house? And one girl, like, who had a little bit of chutzpah, said, well, he's probably going to skip over this house because Mashiach cannot walk into here. I said, so how does that make you feel? Okay, she wasn't so much into the Mashiach thing, but whatever. It's a little bit making ourselves aware of, do I want Mashiach to notice this or that? But let's not look at the negative. Let's look at the positive. Our houses, Baruch Hashem, are already ready for Mashiach. We are ready for Mashiach. This is what the Rebbe is saying. Omed me'achar kotleinu. We could call Parshas Tazria and Metzora. Tazria is positive, being fruitful, doing things, planting. Metzora sounds negative, but the Rebbe says from the negative comes the greatest positivity. So even though we're going through now what looks like a very negative time in Israel, and like Shmuel says, we have to do our achdus, the Avos Yisrael, talking to people, seeing the good in people, and seeing the excitement in people and the little things. A person who puts on tefillin is excited. A person who, does a little something, is excited. All these things are Mashiach things. All these things. One little thing. Your brother putting on tefillin might be greater than all of us together having our Shabbos plata. Because for him, his tefillin is such a big thing. It brought him so much excitement that we're learning from him. This is such a, it gives us so much strength, his excitement. And he should be blessed because he will help us all bring Mashiach. We should be zeicha. This special day of Koach, Sivan Chavchet, is Koach. We should have the strength to bring Mashiach Tzidkenu Bekarov Mamash. Okay, we'll continue next week. B'ezrat Hashem.
Amen, amen. Thank you so much, Esther. Thank you. Incredible class. See you next week.
B'ezrat